In my first year as a full-time YouTube creator, this channel made just under $38,000, and that's across AdSense, coaching, memberships, and affiliate income, growing from 2,000 to 25,000 subscribers in 2025. I'm going to break down where every dollar came from, what actually mattered, and the lessons that only make sense when you see the full picture. All numbers are going to be in US dollars, pre-tax, pre-expense, and if you want to jump around, I've got chapters in the description below. Let's start with the numbers everyone asks about, YouTube AdSense. Here's what most people get wrong about YouTube earnings. They think subscriber count equals income, but it doesn't. AdSense has nothing to do with how many subscribers you have and everything to do with how many views you get. But even that's not the full story. Your CPM, how much money you earn per 1,000 views, varies wildly based on the type of content that you make and if you make long form or shorts. So understanding what this channel made in AdSense in 2025 requires more than just knowing I hit 25,000 subscribers. Let me show you what actually happened. Now, in the first 5 months of 2025, January through May, I was newly monetized, growing from 2,000 to just under 5,000 subscribers, reaching around 150,000 long-form views. Posting 4 to 9 videos per month, my daily AdSense earnings were in single digits, ranging anywhere from $70 to about $145 per month. Not even enough to cover my cable bill. Now, the next 3 months, June through August, things ticked up. I grew from 5,000 to 11,000 subscribers, and I posted far fewer videos, but had one viral video take off that helped me reach around 400,000 long-form views. AdSense jumped from 261 in June to 604 in July and then 785 in August. Still not huge, but now taking meaningful chunks out of my monthly YouTube expenses. And then in the final 4 months, September through December, I went from 11,000 subscribers to 25,000. I had another viral video in the mix and finished the year with 1 million long-form views. Now, for the first time, AdSense crossed $1,000 in a single month, and it stayed there for 3 consecutive months to close out the year. So my total AdSense for 2025 was $6,707, which was 17% of my total revenue. Now, you might be asking, was AdSense my biggest income stream? Not even close. But remember when I said that understanding AdSense earnings requires more than just knowing that I hit 25,000 subscribers. So here's what actually mattered. I reached 1 million views through long-form only content. My videos averaged about 9 minutes in length, and my CPM was around $9 per 1,000 views. And that's what generated the 6,700 in AdSense, not the subscriber count. A gaming channel with the same views might make half of that, and a finance channel might double what I've made. And if those views come from shorts, you're looking at a fraction of what I've earned. The other thing rarely mentioned is the seasonality of Q4 AdSense earnings, which are often the highest of the year. Now, even though AdSense was never meant to be a main source of income, for a channel my size, those back-to-back $1,000 AdSense checks were starting to cover my monthly YouTube expenses. Things like software, tools, gear, even the video editor that I hired, AdSense was paying for it. I see you, Andrew. Now, most creators will tell you that AdSense isn't worth focusing on, and for building a real business, they're absolutely right. But for newer channels, a year in at around 25,000 subscribers, AdSense has a part to play, and the moment it starts to cover your costs, that's a sweet little bonus. Now, here's where things get interesting. There's far more to the story than AdSense because YouTube is hands down the best marketing arm on the planet. Think about this. In 2025, my videos generated 19 million impressions, and I didn't pay for a single ad. That's 19 million opportunities to get in front of a potential buyer. So YouTube is a massive trust engine, and my job was to document everything I was learning about growing on YouTube, building a business, and to use that attention to create off-platform income. Coaching was the most obvious starting point. It required no scale, no experience, no massive audience, just a little bit of knowledge and a strong desire to help people a few steps behind me. 4 months into starting my channel and 3 months before any AdSense rolled in, I started casually offering coaching in my YouTube videos. Here's what happened. 22 people hired me in 2025. My total coaching revenue reached $30,000, of which $9,000 came in December alone. At first, I charged $97 for a 1-hour session. Then I moved to a 90-day program for $500. And as my channel grew and my experience deepened, I was able to raise my rates from $500 to $800. then $997, and eventually a 6-month program at $2,500 and later $3,500. Now, every price increase came with massive resistance, not from clients, but from me, because there's always that moment where you wonder if anyone is actually going to pay. And then when they do, there's this immediate, oh shit, realization that someone is trusting you with a sizable investment. Imposter syndrome, I've learned, never fully goes away. It simply changes shape. But here's what I've learned. People didn't hire me because I had all the answers. They hired me because I was just a few steps ahead, documenting the process, and they trusted that I could help them avoid the mistakes I had already made. That single income stream out-earned AdSense by a huge margin without needing millions of views or a massive audience. When growing from 2,000 to 25,000 subscribers, you don't exactly have the reach that channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers do, but you can build heaps of trust at that size, and trust is what converts. Now, without coaching, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. It's the financial lifeblood of my channel and likely will be for the foreseeable future. Unlike AdSense, coaching is the one thing that I have full control over. And while it's not passive, it proves something critical in year one, that I could start a creator business from scratch and I could become the master of my own destiny. And if this kind of thing appeals to you, just know that you don't need a massive audience to make YouTube financially viable. You simply need a clear way to help people and enough trust for them to say yes. Now, as my coaching roster filled up in the second half of 2025, I was forced to confront another hard question. Is this sustainable? Coaching works, but it's capped by time and energy. There's only so many people that you can work with directly before it becomes the bottleneck. So in the back half of the year, I made 2 parallel bets that would grow my income quietly in the background that wouldn't be bottlenecked by how much time I had: a paid private community and a key affiliate partnership. Let me explain what I mean. One of the creator tools that I've used while building my channel is vidIQ, early on for keyword research, but more recently because it's become the literal Swiss Army knife of YouTube growth tools. It's also one of the few software affiliates I'm comfortable recommending because it's so deeply integrated into my workflow and also insanely affordable. Now, in late 2025, I partnered with vidIQ to get my viewers a $1 trial month if they wanted to test it out with next to no commitment. And by the way, there's a link for that in the description below if you want to check it out. But even with these tools that I genuinely love and talk about openly, these income streams don't pay off immediately. The effort always comes first and the payoff comes later. The community I run is another example of this. It started free and stayed that way up until just a few months ago. But as demand increased, I started charging to keep the member count low and retain that intimate vibe. The community does require real time and attention, calls, posts, feedback, moderation, so it's far from passive. But by the end of the year, it was bringing in roughly $500 to $600 per month and total just over $1,800 for the year, all without doing more work than when it was free. Affiliate income followed a similar pattern, but physical products like Amazon Associates, those were basically a dead end. I earned just under $200 for the year on that. But software affiliates showed far more promise. In the final 2 months of 2025, software commissions earned me over $650. Now, on paper, neither of these income streams look impressive yet, but that's not the point. The community creates depth, relationships, trust, a place where real conversations happen, and where I can find clients if I need to fill my roster. It's also where I found YouTube friends that keep me going, and you can't put a price on that. But software affiliates introduce something entirely different: residual monthly income. Unlike AdSense and coaching, affiliate revenue compounds quietly in the background. Every sign up stacks on top of the last, and in most cases, you keep earning 15, 30, even 40% of the monthly subscription cost for as long as the referral uses the service. And with enough scale, it's entirely possible to grow both memberships and affiliates to several thousands per month in 2026 without a substantial lift. So if you're thinking about passive income, start with the software tools you're already using and would recommend anyway. Check if they have reoccurring monthly affiliate programs, but be selective and ensure alignment with your viewers instead of just chasing commissions. So when you add everything up for 2025, the business generated just under $38,000 from all sources: AdSense, coaching, community, and affiliates. On the expense side, the total business costs were roughly $19,000, and that includes software, tools, contractors, gear, services, and mentorship for myself. So yes, on paper, the business was profitable in year one, but here's the part that still feels uncomfortable. That profit did not fully cover my personal living expenses. 2025 still required drawing down on my savings. And yes, that was a planned decision, but not everyone has access to leveraging their savings to take a risk on a YouTube venture. And this kind of context matters when you watch videos like this. So the real bet was whether this could eventually cover both my business and personal expenses within an 18-month window. And as of month 13, I have been able to do that for the last 2 months in a row, which encourages me to keep going. So now that you've seen the full picture, here are the biggest lessons from year one. First, AdSense is a baseline, not a business. It helps to cover costs, but it's not something you build a life around. If you're at 5,000 subscribers and wondering, when does this get real? Watch for the milestone where AdSense starts to pay for your YouTube expenses, because that's a wonderful place to be, and it takes some of the pressure off. Second, YouTube rewards trust more than it rewards talent. The creators who win aren't the ones chasing hacks or shortcuts. They're the ones who actually care about helping their audience. And if you can make someone's life easier, clearer, less overwhelming, then you have built something worth paying for. Third, you can learn a brand new skill and you can teach it to others without being gimmicky, without pretending to know more than you actually do, and without clickbaiting them into watching. But you have to commit to the timeline, 18 months, 2 years, whatever it takes, and not quit when it gets hard. That's the part most people won't do, because I almost didn't make it to year 2. And if you want to know what actually got me through year 1 without quitting, watch this video next.